right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're great. I hope everything is going well. It looks like that maybe it caught a little bit of the screen beforehand. So, anyway, I just, I really wanted to just share my heart on something. Crafting Cosplayer, who you may or may not know, is on the show with us on Conversations About Dot 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 on occasion. And so she was on the show, and she's been on the show several times. She posted up something on her Facebook, and she said that basically it showed a picture of a thing from University of Washington, and there are students apparently that are protesting the way that African Americans are tested, and they're basically trying to set things up to where black people that are on campus aren't tested as hard as other people. And so I have problems with that. I have a few problems with that. Number one, I have problems because I feel like, first of all, as an African American male, and you can tell that by looking at me, and I know I don't show my face on videos a whole lot often, but um, I'm glad to be able to have this moment with you guys. I, I've fought for a lot of stuff in my life. I have. I mean, there's parts of the story that I've told on the podcast. There's parts of the story that I haven't told. Uh, we've all, different people have fought for different things, and they really have. And so I would never want to walk into a situation where I didn't feel like I earned my shot. Uh, I've had situations before in the past where I've walked into restaurants and people told me I didn't belong there, and there was no real reason for them to tell me that, but they did. I've walked into college classrooms, and I've had people tell me that they didn't think I belonged there. Again, not for sure why that was the case, but they did it. Uh, these were things that occurred. These were things that happened. These were things that I wasn't a fan of at all. And so my biggest issue for that really had to be that I didn't want any excuses. If I earned my spot, I wanted to earn my spot because I had done the mental gymnastics. I had done the things I was supposed to do. I'd studied hard. I'd worked hard. If I was on the football field when I played football, I wanted to be the guy that worked the hardest on the field every day. I wanted to leave everything out there on the field. It didn't matter. And it's funny because whenever people say stuff like, well, we shouldn't test these people as hard as we test other people, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you don't test me as hard, especially if I figure out that you're not testing me as hard, um, you're creating a situation where you're going to get potentially a lazy person. It's not always the case. Some people will realize something like that's going on, and then they will work even harder. They will push even harder. They'll work even quicker. They'll work to be harder, faster, stronger. They'll work to be all those things. But the thing about that is that everybody's not that way. Some of it has to do with how you're taught. Some of it has to be taught with how you're raised. And so you never want to just assume that somebody would step up to the plate no matter what, and that they would go hard no matter what. Because it's real easy sometimes to just believe, well, if everybody's tested on a lower scale, then everything balances out. No, it doesn't. It's just the opposite. If you look at history, uh, when, especially in the South, in the schools in the South, you had the Daughters of the Republic that were out teaching different things. You had people out there doing different things. And so when you had those things going on, you really didn't have people that had your best interest at heart. So I'm going to have to make a quick change on my video resolution, so bear with me just a second, because I'm being told that my resolution is not good enough, or too high, or something. I'm not for sure. I'm learning this new thing on here as I go, so you'll have to excuse me just a moment while I do that. As I go, bear with me just a second. If you're in the chat, do me a favor, comment, let me know you're there. I greatly appreciate it. Reaching out to you here just to do that for me. That'd be awesome. Okay, not themes, obviously. Okay, so editor, if I go in here. Just talking to myself for a minute, y'all, sorry. I'm trying to make sure I've got this stuff in here properly. but it doesn't give me where it says to do the. It's always problems with like my video output. That's the weird part. It's like I can't ever get those settings right. I'm not sure what to do about that. And of course, it doesn't tell me like, hey, go here if you're trying to fix it. Okay, your stream quality is good. Thank you for telling my stream quality is good, even though you're telling me otherwise. Okay, can I drop? No, I don't need to add something to my folder. I need to. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna go, and we'll mess with it next time, I guess. So, anyway, why did it jump back up? That's weird. Okay. All right. Anyway, so as I was saying, uh, one of the hardest things to do in this thing called life is to push to advance, because especially if you live in a world where you have people that look at you and say you're less than because you're different. If if you know, and I mean that goes with not just black people, because I know there's more people that are tormented than just myself. Uh, I know that there are ladies out there that get tormented on a daily basis. I know there are Native Americans that get tormented on a regular basis. I know that people of the gay and lesbian community that are tormented on a regular basis. But I don't ever want the deck stacked against me to quote get easier. I don't, because then it creates the opposite situation. If you tell me, okay, you know what, you've been dealt a hard deck because you were born this color. Well, first of all, no, I'm not, because I can have a conversation with just about anybody in the room. But again, that had a lot more to do with being raised with a mother that let me walk out of the house feeling bad for myself. And it wasn't easy all the time. I tell you, there were times where situations would come up, things would be said, things would be done, and I would go home almost in tears because I had people that were very intentionally mean just off something I couldn't control. And so they would let me know pretty regularly I didn't belong. But it wasn't until I got home and I understood that I was created by God for a purpose. I was created to be something special and unique, but I knew that I had to work for every bit of it. It wasn't going to be given to me. And so I don't ask people to give me anything. I want to fight for it all. If I do it wrong and I mess it up, I take responsibility for it. If I do it right and I learn from it, okay, I take responsibility for that too. But there are a lot of problems in the world we're facing today, and I don't think the way you fix it is by trying to make the playing field easier. Because first of all, the people that are the people that have a problem with me being black in America are going to make a point to tell me that the reason I got ahead was because people made it easier for me. And I don't want that. I really don't. If I'm going to get somewhere in this thing called life, I'm going to fight for it every day. I'm going to continue to move. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to be everything I could be every day of my life. God didn't create me to take an easy road, and I understand that. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I want an easy road to walk on. I don't want somebody coming to me and saying, "Hey, man, you want to get an education? We're going to make it so much easier for you to get an education than it would be for this lady over here who's just as qualified." No, I don't want that. I want to get it because I earn it. No matter what it is. I want to do it because I earn it. I want to get there because I earn it. I want to earn my spot wherever I am. Every single day of my life. And so when I see stuff like this, and this isn't the first time I've seen stuff like this in my life. There have been situations where people have talked about, for example, they'll say, well, if we just made things easier for some people, then everybody would get along. Well, no, that doesn't shift the balance. That doesn't shift the balance in a right way anyway. It shifts the balance in a horribly wrong way. Because what happens then is that when you say, I'm going to make it easier for you, but I'm not going to make it easier for this person, either everybody has to step their game up. And when I say step the game up, please understand, I'm not saying to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, because not everybody has boots. Okay, everybody talks about pulling you just work hard. Everybody can pull themselves up by the bootstraps. You can be anything you want to be. You got to have boots to pull yourself up by bootstraps. So there's certain things that we can see in our culture that people need in order to just have basic human decency, to just be treated like regular people. And so maybe balance the scales by making sure everybody's treated like humans. So let's just start there, baseline. If everybody's treated as people, if everybody is treated like we were told in the preamble that we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and men in that context wasn't literally men, or it shouldn't have been, because when you look at men in that context, it would have been more like mankind. But unfortunately, we've kind of let history teach us that it was just literally men. Although I understand why people would say that, because of course men were treated with a higher regard, especially white men were treated with a higher regard at that time. Well, you can't say Native American men were treated the same way. You can't say gay men were treated the same way. You can't say black men were treated the same way. Uh, you can't say certain poor people of different types were there. So it was primarily uh, white males who were very well off. And again, that has nothing. I'm not trying to say make a statement about, oh, it's those white guys. No, what I'm saying is that history records that at that time that was who was in power. Now that's to say that maybe if we just spread the power around, maybe if we just make it so that everybody's working hard together to make this world a better place. Maybe then, instead of looking for, because I think part of the biggest problem with what's going on right now is you got so many people trying to fight for power. You got so many people trying to say, well, I don't want to give up my power. I don't want to give up my voice. Well, why don't you lend your voice to someone else and help them become better? Maybe we all can lift up our voices and help each other be better than we are. And then it's not a matter of trying to lower something to even the playing field. It's about making the playing field even for everybody. And I'm not saying, when I say even for everybody, it's just simply that, even for everybody. You know, don't redline people in certain neighborhoods. Don't have law enforcement incarcerate certain people percentage-wise a lot more than they do others. Don't have a penal system that basically sets up its own slave trade within itself. And if you want some documentation for what I just said, if you've not watched it yet, go check out I believe it's just called 13th on Netflix. It talks about the 13th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And it basically talks about the idea that slavery was ended with the 13th Amendment, but it did give out a clause that said but unless of incarceration. And if you look at that, you understand that when they set that up, basically the idea was, well, if you have people in jail, you can make them your slaves and they can work for you because you're under the state system anyway. And so if you look at the history of the jail system, if you look at the history of what's been going on since the 13th Amendment was ratified and created with that, you will find that the jail system is very much a corrupt thing. You know, when you look at who's in there, when you look at how long certain people are in jail versus others, when you look at opportunities for recidification, when you look at opportunities for people to get out of jail and do something productive in life versus others, we've got to level the playing field across the board. We cannot get ahead by having people say, we're going to lower the bar for you so you can get ahead. I don't need you to lower the bar. I just need to be able to make sure my stick works the same way as yours. And I'm talking about, pole vaulting, if you're wondering what sport I'm referencing. So, I need to make sure my stick works the same. I need to make sure that the stick's on the thing on the same place. I need to make sure the bag is filled for every single person that jumps the jump. Okay? We shouldn't be putting more air in some bags for some people and putting less air in bags for others. That's not the way to level the playing field. But by making it so that it's easier for me to jump, that doesn't level it either. So let's level it across the board. Let's look at the education system. Let's see what we can do to help people not go broke and into financial debt over college. I understand that universities have a lot of money that they have to get. I understand they got to pay teachers. They got to keep the lights on. They got to do all that stuff. But can we reevaluate the system? Can we reevaluate maybe the scholarship system so that more people have opportunities to earn scholarships at a decent time frame? I don't know. I'm just kind of talking, and I'm going to shut this down right now. So anyway, I hope you get a chance to watch this. I hope you get a chance to listen to it, and I hope that it'll make you think. I haven't done one of these in a while, and so I'm glad you jump on in there. Comment. I want to see your comments. I want to know what you think. Am I crazy? Am I making sense? It's almost 1 in the morning where I am, so I may not be making a whole lot of sense. But I just want you to understand that I for one am not asking for people to lower the bar for me, because I know that in order for me to get where I want to go, I'm going to have to go through the challenges to get there. So don't lower the bar, just to level out the playing field for everybody. How we do that is totally up to you, because each one of us have the opportunity to help in that process. So thank you for listening. I appreciate the time you put into this, and more above all else, do me a favor, be blessed and be a blessing to somebody, guys. Take care.